Have you ever felt like your deepest pain is trying to tell you something? Like it's more than just suffering? I know that feeling intimately. A few years ago, I went through a period of intense grief after losing my job and facing a series of personal setbacks. I'd wake up each morning with this heaviness in my chest, a sense of despair that seemed to seep into every part of my life. I felt lost, like I was wandering through a fog with no way out. The pain was relentless, and I couldn't understand why it wouldn't let me go. If you're watching this, I'm guessing you felt something similar. That raw, aching pain that makes you question everything, that makes you wonder if there's any meaning to it at all. But what if that pain isn't just a burden to bear? What if it's a doorway, a portal to something greater? That's what brought me to Carl Jung, a thinker who saw pain not as an enemy, but as a guide. Jung believed that our suffering, no matter how overwhelming, is a signal from our unconscious, a call to awaken spiritually. He introduced a concept called the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we've buried, like our fears, our shame, the emotions we don't want to face. When we go through pain, Jung said, these shadow parts rise to the surface, demanding to be seen. It's why your pain might feel so intense, so all-consuming, because it's trying to show you something about yourself, something you've been ignoring. I remember sitting in my apartment during that dark time, surrounded by the chaos of my life. I'd lost my job, my relationships were strained, and I felt like a failure. I'd sit on my couch for hours, replaying every mistake, every moment where I thought I'd gone wrong. The pain was like a storm inside me, and I couldn't escape it. I kept asking myself, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Maybe you've asked yourself similar questions, feeling like your pain is a punishment, a sign that you're broken. But Jung would say that pain isn't a punishment. It's a teacher. It's your unconscious knocking on the door of your soul, asking you to listen, to grow, to awaken. It's like Neo in the Matrix, living in a world he thought was real, until his pain forced him to wake up to a deeper truth. Pain can be like that, a wake-up call, pushing you to see beyond the surface of your life. Jung called this journey individuation, the process of becoming your truest, most whole self. He believed that our suffering, when we face it with courage, can lead us to a spiritual awakening, a connection to something greater than ourselves. So, what does that awakening look like? How can your pain become a doorway to something more? Let's explore that together. When I first started diving into Carl Jung's ideas, I wasn't sure what I'd find. I was in the depths of my pain, and all I wanted was relief. But what I discovered was so much more, a way to see my suffering not as an end, but as a beginning. Jung taught me that pain, when we lean into it, can lead to a spiritual awakening that transforms our lives in ways we never thought possible. The benefits of this journey are profound, not just for healing our wounds, but for connecting us to a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. One of the first things Jung showed me was the importance of facing my shadow, the parts of myself I'd hidden because they were too painful to confront. During my time of grief, I realized I'd been burying so much. The shame of losing my job, the fear that I'd never be successful, the anger at myself for not being stronger. Jung said that when we integrate these shadow parts, we find a kind of freedom that opens the door to spiritual growth. For me, that meant sitting with those feelings instead of running from them. I started writing in a journal, pouring out my shame, my fear, even the rage I'd kept locked away. And something incredible happened. The more I faced those emotions, the more I felt a sense of peace. It was like I'd been carrying a heavy chain, and I was finally breaking free, stepping into a new kind of light. Jung called this process individuation, the journey to become your truest self. When you embrace your pain as a doorway, you're not just healing, you're awakening to a deeper connection with your soul. I felt this shift one morning as I was walking by a lake near my home. I'd been in such a dark place, but that day, as the sun rose over the water, I felt this quiet stillness inside me. I realized I wasn't just surviving my pain, I was growing through it. I felt connected to something bigger, a sense of purpose I'd never known before. Jung would say that's what happens when you awaken spiritually. You stop living on the surface and start living from the depths of your being. Another beautiful thing Jung talked about is synchronicity, the idea that when you align with your true self, the universe starts to support you in unexpected ways. After I began facing my pain, I noticed this in my life. I'd meet people who seemed to understand my journey, friends who encouraged me to follow my passions, even opportunities that felt like they were meant to be. It was like the world was reflecting my inner awakening back to me. I think of Santiago in The Alchemist, who followed his heart and found the universe conspiring to help him. Your pain, when you embrace it, can lead to a spiritual awakening that feels like that, a journey where every step brings you closer to a life of meaning. For me, one of the greatest benefits was finding a sense of peace I'd never known. I'd always been drawn to meditation, but I'd never made time for it. As I started healing through my pain, I began sitting in silence each morning, just breathing, just being. I felt this deep connection to something greater, a stillness that carried me through my days. Jung would say that's what spiritual awakening does. It helps you find a peace that transcends your circumstances, a peace that comes from within. Imagine what that could look like for you. What if your pain could lead you to a life where you feel truly connected, truly alive? That's the gift Jung offers, a way to turn your suffering into a path toward spiritual awakening. It's not always easy, but it's worth every step. And the best part? There are practical ways to start this journey, steps you can take today to open that doorway. Let's dive into those next. Another powerful practice is to find meaning in your pain, which Jung saw as a key to spiritual awakening. This means asking, what is this pain teaching me about myself? I remember sitting by that lake one morning, reflecting on my struggles. I realized that my pain had taught me resilience, that it had shown me how strong I could be even in my darkest moments. That realization felt like a gift, a doorway to a deeper understanding of my purpose. You can do this too. Take a moment to reflect on your pain. Ask, what have I learned from this? Or how has this made me stronger? Jung believed that finding meaning in suffering connects us to something greater, a spiritual truth that transcends our circumstances. It's like Neo in the Matrix, discovering his true power by facing the challenges that once held him back. These steps, facing your shadow, listening to your dreams, and finding meaning, aren't always easy, but they're doable. You don't need to do everything at once. Just take one step at a time, and you'll be amazed at how much you can grow. Jung believed that every choice to face your pain is a step toward spiritual awakening, a step toward becoming your truest self. So, what's one step you can take today? Maybe it's journaling about your shadow, writing down a dream, or reflecting on the meaning of your pain. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Let's share this journey together. Now that we've seen how your pain can be a doorway to spiritual awakening, let's talk about how to walk through that door. Carl Jung's teachings offer us practical steps to embrace our suffering and transform it into growth. And I've found these steps to be incredibly powerful in my own life. They helped me move from a place of despair to a place of peace. And I believe they can do the same for you. The first step Jung would encourage is to face your shadow, the hidden parts of yourself that your pain is bringing to light. This means looking at the emotions you've been avoiding, like the fear of failure or the shame of not being enough. For me, this looked like sitting down with a journal and writing about my deepest feelings. I asked myself, what is this pain trying to show me? I wrote about my fear of never being successful, my shame of losing my job, even the anger I felt at myself for not being stronger. At first, it was overwhelming. Those emotions were raw, and I wanted to push them away. But as I wrote, I felt a shift. It was like I was meeting a part of myself I'd ignored for years, and that meeting brought a strange kind of peace. Try this yourself. Take 10 minutes each day to journal about your pain. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Or, what is this pain teaching me? Don't judge what comes up. Just let it be. Jung believed that by facing your shadow, you begin to integrate it, and that integration is the first step towards spiritual awakening. The next step is to listen to your unconscious, which Jung saw as a source of spiritual wisdom. Your pain is a message from your unconscious, a call to grow. And one way to hear that message is through your dreams. Jung believed that dreams are a window into the unconscious, often revealing symbols and insights that can guide you. I started keeping a dream journal during my time of grief, writing down every detail I could remember each morning. One night, I dreamt of a dark forest with a glowing path leading out of it. I realized that forest was my pain, and the path was the way forward, a symbol of hope, of awakening. You can try this too. Keep a notebook by your bed and write down your dreams each morning. Look for symbols, a path, a light, a figure, and ask yourself what they might mean. Jung would say, this is your unconscious speaking, guiding you toward growth. We've walked a transformative path together, exploring how your pain can be a doorway to spiritual awakening. We began by acknowledging the deep suffering that so many of us carry, the kind of pain that feels like a storm, relentless and all-consuming. That heaviness, as Carl Jung taught us, isn't just a burden. It's a signal from your unconscious, a call to face your shadow and uncover the parts of yourself you've hidden away. We've seen how those fears and insecurities, when left unaddressed, can keep you trapped in suffering, unable to see the light beyond the storm. Through Jung's wisdom, we discovered the profound benefits of embracing this pain. By facing your shadow, you can find a freedom that opens the door to spiritual growth, a lightness that comes from integrating all parts of yourself. This journey of individuation, as Jung called it, helps you become your truest self, connected to a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. And as you align with that true self, you might notice the universe supporting you in beautiful ways, bringing you new connections, opportunities, and a sense of peace you thought you'd lost. I've felt this in my own life, and I know you can too. Your pain, when you lean into it, can lead to a spiritual awakening that transforms your life in ways you never imagined. We also explored practical steps to make this awakening real, facing your shadow, by journaling your deepest emotions, listening to your unconscious through your dreams, and finding meaning in your suffering. These steps, though challenging, are powerful. I've seen how they've changed my life, helping me move from a place of despair to a place of connection. Jung believed that this journey is lifelong, a process of becoming more and more yourself with each step. It's like Santiago in The Alchemist, who discovered that the treasure he sought was within him all along. Your pain, as hard as it may be, can be the beginning of that journey, a chance to find the treasure of your own spirit. Now, I want to invite you to take this journey further. Start with one of the steps we talked about. Maybe it's journaling about your shadow, writing down a dream, or reflecting on the meaning of your pain. Try it for the next 30 days and see how it feels. You might be surprised at the difference it makes. If you want to go deeper, I recommend Jung's Man and His Symbols. It's a beautiful exploration of the unconscious, and there's a link in the description to help you find it. You can also join our online community, where people just like you are sharing their journeys of spiritual awakening. There's a link for that too. This isn't a journey that you have to take alone. I'd love to hear how you're finding meaning in your pain. What's one insight your suffering has given you? Share your story in the comments below, because your words might inspire someone else to take that brave step. We're in this together, building a community of people who are choosing to grow, to awaken, to live from the depths of their being. Thank you for being here with me today. You're not just a viewer. You're part of something bigger, a movement towards spiritual awakening. As you move forward, remember this. Your pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. You are stronger than you know, capable of growing in ways you can't yet imagine. Jung believed that the greatest journey is the one within, and your pain, though heavy, can be the doorway to that adventure. You deserve to live a life of meaning, of connection, of light. So, take that first step today, and let's keep walking this path together. I'll see you in the comments, and I can't wait to hear how your awakening